What did you think of all her little gifts that she gave people? It started with Sammy Tom and the Gentleman magazine, and I was hoping that would come back around. He would be like,
goodness.
"Who?"
That was so funny. She didn't know how to act, and like this is something that made me think that she was still like stuck in her childhood past, because like she's like, oh, I gotta bring a gift. What do I have? People like cheese. Here's some cheese. Honestly, people do like cheese, so but I thought her gifts were quirky, just like she did.
Yeah, it's just funny people's like reactions, or when the nail tech opened up her bag and there was an egg sandwich in there, and she gags and she's like, "That's a bit of an overreaction."
It would have been an overreaction. I agree, 100%.
I don't expect to find an egg sandwich when I open a bag.
Oh, I would never expect that. I'd expect a rotten banana or some fruit or a granola bar, but
egg sandwich. Yeah, she was just totally oblivious to social cues.
Hey, page turners! You're listening to Pages Across the Prairies with Adriana
and Christine,
your virtual book club where two besties dive into stories and spill all our thoughts.
Think of it like your coziest book club, but without the dress code. So grab your book, pour your favorite drink, and let's talk chapters.
We are here today discussing Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. And this is our spoiler full version, so we'll be spilling some tea on this book. If you haven't read it, I recommend going to our spoiler-free version that we posted last week, or if you just want to talk or hear more about the book as well. That one's a good. I'll link. Jumping back to our ratings, I think, was I sitting at a 7? I think it was a 7.
I believe so. I think we were both at 7 for this book.
Yeah.
As of right now.
As of right now, and it's weird because it's a book that I think is so beautifully written. So it is I think it's super beautifully written. I think it's well thought out. I was really impressed with it, and it makes you feel all sorts of feelings. But it was just I did have a issue with the end piece.
Yeah. It's the author really grasped and portrayed how hard mental illness can be, and the scenes where she took us to Eleanor's darkest moments were portrayed really well, and even her not dark moments.
Like, you really got to crawl inside Eleanor's brain. So something that I found out about this author is that this is her first and only book. Yeah. Imagine writing this as your first book.
How do you top that? It's your first book and it's really good.
Right? There's another one, like if you Google it, it says something about like an entitled one, but I couldn't find much on it. And since it's untitled, I was like, but she did. I read an interview from her, and it was at the time, I don't know what period this book was published. I think 2014 or something. It was published a while ago anyway, though, but at the time she was writing another book.
Is it out now? Or I guess not.
I guess not. And it's set in 1940. It jumps back and forth. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I would read another one of her books.
Yeah. I'm curious if she used a different pen name.
I didn't see anything, and I did on the interview, it did say that it was her first or her only book or something like that. I don't have it right in front of me, but
2017 it was published. Yeah.
Almost like I didn't read that fact 10 minutes ago.
It's easy to forget stuff.
It is. Yeah. So this book took her 2 years to write.
Okay.
But
that's reasonable.
I mean, it's been more than 2 years since it was published. And where's your other book? We're expecting it.
Yeah, I would like to know. I would like another book that's full of an uplifting sadness.
Uplifting sadness. A question I had for you, and this is probably better to wrap with, but since we're here, how did you, like when you finished the book, how did it leave you feeling?
Bad.
Okay. Why?
Yeah. Because of just the whole wardrobe thing.
The wardrobe thing? Oh, yeah.
And like the mother, and I would prefer if the mother was still alive so she could pay for her consequences.
Do you mean Mummy?
Mummy, yes. My bad.
Horrible.
That was so cringe the whole time. I'm like, this mummy lady? Oh, bad business.
Such a trigger. Like the very first time she said it, my brain was like, no.
I know. I was like, red flag. This is not a good lady.
No, but it was like, I think even on our last episode, we were kind of talking about how Eleanor is a bit childlike.
Yes.
And I think that really adds to it, the calling.
Yeah, and she hasn't healed from her childhood trauma in the slightest, so she's still stuck as a child in that time.
Yeah.
And her mommy is mummy.
Yeah, good point. So you're mad about that situation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was totally unnecessary.
Did it leave you feeling uplifted and hopeful, or concerned and doubtful?
Okay, interesting. I was hopeful that she was going to continue healing on her really hard journey.
Yes. And that's actually, if the author, she said, if you have one piece of advice for her, what would it be? And it would be like to continue
Yes,
trying and growing.
that's just it. To just keep going. And I wasn't uplifted.
No, not even with the
Exactly.
Raymond peck on the cheek.
That was cute. It was just so cute. That's something I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you want to jump into that right away.
Not quite yet. Well, Raymond's going to be a whole other thing.
Yeah, I figured. So, well,
What was it? You just said something that piqued just the idea of mental health as a journey and not something. I can't remember where I read that. It was, somebody was talking about this book though, and how it's like, it really shows how much you have to work at it and how it just doesn't, you can't just like go to therapy once and you're all great.
yeah. I think that's probably why I don't feel uplifted, is because she's just scratched the surface and she has so much more horrible work to go through. And it's like, I'm hopeful, but
her character growth though, I don't know how long necessarily, like what the time period of this book is. I would say under a year, certainly.
Yeah, for sure. It's under a year.
I felt like it was only like a couple months, honestly.
It was at least a season or a couple seasons, because it started and then she had a handful of months off. I think it took place like in spring and then ended at getting ready for the Christmas party.
Okay. Yeah. And it had passages. I can't remember what the other passage was, but like it starts off like better days or good days, and then it's something about bad days, or that's not the right phrasing, but I thought that was such a cool division, especially. And I think it's such a mental health, because I've heard a lot of mental health posts, people being like, oh, it was like obviously a good day, but like, you know what I mean? When you're struggling through depression, having that, like some days are high, some days are low kind of thing. Yeah. And she's going through these passages of time where it's like that.
Well, it was the bad days was the part where she had her drugs on the table, lots of alcohol, and was under the table. So
trying to commit suicide. Yeah. Did you, off the start, because it opens with her talking about that and like what she'd already thought, I think there's stages in planning, right? She'd already thought about what that would look like if she committed it. So did you expect her to try at some point in the novel?
I think I was going to expect it. I don't think I expected it the way that she was going to go about it.
No. I almost should have, because right at the start there's that passage where she's with the doctor requesting more medication.
Yeah. Like, I think what threw me off is her just drinking so much to get to the point. But when she was asking for the medication, I'm just like, don't give it to her. She's...
No? Oh, okay, she needs more pain medication for her back or something like that. I can't remember. I mean, I should have, like, from my year of rest and relaxation, that should have been like, pain. I don't know. I didn't, right off the hop, and I think you saw this in my messages to you, I didn't understand her character. I found her very off-putting, like most people did. And I just, I kind of obviously didn't like her, but, like, didn't understand her at all off the start. I didn't understand what was going on, and I was just like, you're just kind of, like, obnoxious. Obnoxious is the word for her.
Yeah, she was, and I think a lot of people felt that way about her too.
I love that the author did that in a way that it was like, oh, okay, so I made the same mistake as everybody around her.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, so it just proved a point. Good job.
Yeah, the author did a really good job with that.
Yeah, it didn't take too long for me to be like, oh, okay, there's more depth here. And she becomes super likable, I think.
Yeah, what bothers me is how when she started wearing different clothes, people started like acknowledging her, and that made me really sad. But other than that, she had great growth. Though? It is, and that's why it made me sad, because it's so true.
I think there was a quote. I almost should have saved the quote actually, because she was like, "Oh, I found that people be better when I'm wearing makeup."
Yeah, it was really sad.
And I remember one time, the guy had done an interview, a promotion, right? And I mentioned presenting myself better, which as you should, but I referenced specifically doing my makeup and hair, and like that's not part of the position, unless of course we're talking about our last book.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is, or at least that place. Yeah,
but it's just funny. I found that the intro really interesting. Oh, like because there was that allusion to abuse as well. At the start, and I was a little confused too, because I was like, well, clearly she's an adult and just trying to figure out where that came from. It was interesting also to see Raymond's reactions when she just pulled out this heavy
threw him off guard a bit.
You'd be like, oh, it's no big deal.
Yeah, there was a lot of that where it's like something really that isn't great happened, and she's like shrugs it off, and everybody's like, maybe you should have a reaction to that.
Maybe. I feel like that's like a defense mechanism too, probably for her.
Most likely, yeah.
And I wondered with her character too how much of what she was doing was defense. Because I mean, if you're struggling to socialize with people, if you're having all these issues and this trauma that you have to live with and deal with, it makes sense that you would be protective of yourself in the sense of like calling everybody stupid or whatever and being like, wasting my time anyway to talk to them. Because then you're protecting yourself from
and them actually not wanting to talk to you.
Yeah. Or Eleanor.
That makes me think of the guy she was creeping. What did you think about that situation?
Talk about that. Okay. That's a whole other thing. She's so funny. Before I forget, I just wanted to mention with how she talked about people and how she thought. It took me until about 3/4, I think, through the novel to realize that she was just speaking like her mother.
Yeah.
And I should have realized it sooner, but that's how she was taught. That's how she was raised. That's why when she first met Raymond, she called him, the word she used was another word for pig.
Yeah.
So, which I was like...
And he still stuck around to become a friend? Like,
okay. Lamond? Is that how they said it in the audio?
no, but there was also like a big accent, so I could have just misheard it.
I don't know. I'm curious now. Anyway, her rock star love interest.
Yes. John.
What were you asking about him?
What'd you think about him? What'd you think about that situation? About her,
Stalking?
stalking him and
Showing up at his house like a little crazy pants?
I thought obviously still her mom was alive, but I thought she was like gonna kill him or something.
Yeah, because you never really knew with her how far she was going to take it, and she wasn't honest with you.
Not at all. You want unreliable.
Right? Because I don't even think she knew. And
No.
she acted like she had a plan, but I don't know about that. Yes, certainly unreliable. I think that she needed... Like, Eleanor confused me quite a bit. There were times where I couldn't quite understand. But my feeling was that she needed some kind of change in her life. And so she kind of created this fantastical story. And I think even to herself, she knew.
Yeah.
But she obviously wasn't succeeding at making friends or social connections in her day-to-day life. She had brought this guy, and I'm curious if it was intended as a date to her. But then again, like I say, she surprised me because she didn't ever attempt to... Until I don't know, like with Raymond, she didn't immediately be like, oh, okay, we're friends. I'm going to cross a line or assume that you're interested in me.
Yeah.
So perhaps it wasn't a date to her. I don't know, but, or wasn't a hope. I do think that she was probably hoping for more meaningful connection. That didn't happen. Her life was kind of just not the happiest. And so she created this illusion.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And then continued to ignore when she saw things. She judged everybody else, but not him. And he was a twat, for better words.
He was awful. Like, his posts, so rude. There's nothing pleasant about his persona.
I didn't expect that from his introduction, how she described him, and then all of a sudden he's like...
Yeah. What I wanted to know is what kind of concert did she see him in the first place?
Right? It sounded like Globe Theater or something.
Like
I was
a
picturing...
symphony.
Yeah, like an uppity, fancy thing. And he was wearing a waistcoat.
Yeah, that's what caught her attention.
Although I haven't, sometimes singers wear that. Obviously, singers can wear that. But I mean, I don't know, less fancy concert singers wear waistcoats. I don't know. I haven't been to any.
I haven't been to one in a long time.
Yeah, I was kind of happy there wasn't any, there was closure with him, obviously. And I was really happy at the end. She was okay. She didn't become even more obsessed with him when he didn't realize her. So I was happy with how that ended, and I'm actually really glad that there wasn't a interaction between them, like an actual conversation.
I was so scared of that.
Well, you told me at one point, you said there's somebody not to be trusted. I wonder if you can guess who it is. First of all, I don't know who you're talking about still, but that put me on edge for Johnny. I was like, he is going to be a nightmare. She's going to take total advantage of this woman. That's what I thought when you said that. Because I was like, who else has been introduced?
I was meaning just the slimy bartender.
Oh, so I was right. I did call that one. After that, every time she met somebody, I was like, oh, what are you gonna do?
You figured it out. You just didn't quite know that's who I was talking about.
I am so mad at that guy. I'm really glad. I thought that he got away with it. Raymond didn't put two and two together.
Smart.
He did.
So
He's
proud
the
of
best character ever. I don't think I've enjoyed a character that much for a while.
Yeah, as you start, it's like, can we trust you? Immediately, you're like, yeah, he's actually a good person.
Well, I think you helped me out a lot too, though, because off the start I was like, I can't remember when. It's just because Eleanor is so oblivious to so many things. I'm constantly worried about people taking advantage of her.
Yeah.
So that he had done something, and I was a little nervous. I was like, I had judged him as a safe character, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes these people exist or are intentionally misleading you. So I had asked you, and you're like, no, he's just a good guy. And then after that, I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I spoiled it.
No, it helped. I was like, I'm safe here. This is safe. Otherwise,
Yeah. I had said he had asked her to go out for drinks, and she said no. So then he was grumbling.
when was that? Like, it was right at the start. I'm trying to remember exactly. Oh yeah. Okay. She's so funny. When they went to their very first outing together, where they went to get drinks, and he insisted on paying for it, and she was like, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is she gonna drug her drink? And she said she got right in his face. She said, I have to buy it. This is important to me. And I was just picturing that too, like little. And there was another time too where she was reading the computer screen. She talked about like how she was like,
Yes.
and I was just picturing just little Eleanor like
Just right up in there. The patience that Raymond had was absolutely unbelievable.
yeah, and he viewed her as a real friend though.
He did.
Yeah. And off the start there wasn't so much friendly about her. So to be like, yeah, we're friends. Meanwhile, she's calling you a pig and criticizing your smoking. Well, I mean, like, fine, but it's the way she spoke about him sometimes is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, to his face. I was like, how did he have the patience to be like,
to realize that there was
deeper.
more to the service?
Exactly.
Because the coworkers did not at all.
They didn't give her the time of day. They just looked at her clothes and the way she carried herself and was like, meh.
Yeah.
Well, I think that shows how sure Raymond is of himself. Like, he's just like, yep, me. So.
Good point. That is true. Good person for her to learn how to be a human from.
Yeah, exactly. And then those people just kept popping up.
Imagine if she ran into Earthlings Girl and they ended up friends.
Oh my goodness. That'd be a weird situation.
I think it would almost go exactly the way that it did.
Most likely.
Oh. I really don't know how I feel about that novel still to this day.
That's okay. It can be one that just confuses the brain forever.
Would I read another one by that author? Yes. Just before I went on this tangent. There were a lot of good characters in this novel, like just very kind-hearted. Sammy Tom's whole family, Raymond's mom. Just wonderful, wonderful characters. Do you think that was realistic? I'm not asking if you think there's good people in the world, but that she stumbled upon so many suddenly.
I think that once she was opened up to the world that people can be good, that, she's like, if they just were there, and they were probably there the whole time, but there was just nobody to open her eyes to it until now.
I almost feel in some ways Raymond kind of worked as a social lubricant, if you will, for her.
A good way to put it.
Like, I don't think people knew how to engage with her, and I think she probably came as quite obnoxious and kind of judgmental because she was, and so people were like, okay, that's an easy door to shut. Whereas even when, and I couldn't quite completely understand, sometimes trying to decide what it looks like to other people as opposed to what Eleanor sees in her head is sometimes difficult for me. Because when they first meet Sammy Tom, there's this whole conversation that happens between Raymond and Sammy Tom with their eyeballs. And I think Raymond probably did that for Eleanor with a lot of people, where he was like, just Eleanor, she's fine.
So,
well,
and I think
she's completely fine.
I think you're totally right, though. I never really thought about that. But when it came to Laura and those people, he definitely was like, she's chill, it's fine.
And I think that's kind of in the way social scenarios work. If you have people very often kind of follow a herd. So if you have a leader who's being like, Eleanor's good, let's accept Eleanor, as opposed to other people who are making fun of her, then it really helps set the tone. Because why would Laura, if everybody's just acting okay around Eleanor and treating her as you should treat another human being, if Laura were to walk in, and Laura was actually really good to her, so I don't know why I'm attacking her, but
no, she was really good to her. A little offstandish at first, but it all fell in place.
Yes. If Laura was to just say something very rude, people would, like you wouldn't just. I like watching reality TV shows because I like to watch Social Dynamics, Big Brother. It's really interesting how groups of people tend to almost fall into the same categories no matter the people, patterns of behavior. And it's also funny too, because if you have a character that everybody's like an Eleanor, and people choose to be rude to them, the general public will be appalled. But in these small groups, just like in Eleanor's work. I don't know. It's interesting. I am sure there's a whole science and stuff to it, but
yeah, most likely. That's so interesting, though. I don't really watch any reality, but now I'm really curious just to test it out.
Yeah, well, I should read some books along with it, like, and just it's interesting.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say on that note? So Raymond, I was confused with the Laura relationship a little bit.
I feel like they were just a fling. Like they met.
Yeah,
they had a few dates.
Was what it was.
And then it was over.
I like sometimes I couldn't quite understand this. First of all, every time Eleanor was like, "I've already found a guy," and he was like, "What?" Because obviously he must have thought it was him, right?
I think so.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that point was made a couple times, so I'm like, he must be thinking that's him.
Yeah. And I think he just wanted to be friends. Like, they had a nice platonic relationship, which it was, and I loved that about it.
Do you think that it was going to move into romance?
It probably would have. But I don't want it to, because I want them to stay really good friends.
I do too. They're good. It's just, I don't know what a relationship for Eleanor looks like, though. I think she's learning, but I think also another thing with her is the good thing with them being friends is she really needs time to, like, I know she's had a lot of time to herself, but like time to appreciate herself.
Yes. And I think that maybe, let's say in like 3, 4, 5 years, they can have a relationship, but not right now.
Yeah, I like that. She needs to get friends and stuff too, and because like she would have lost her whole like years and teenage years, so needs to live a little.
Yeah, her first boyfriend, Declan, I think his name was. It's awful. It broke my heart. I was like, oh.
It made me think about a little bit about Wayward.
Yes.
Because it was like in both novels, it was like these guys found like they found these women. And like, yeah, because Eleanor probably was not looking for that.
No, they saw someone who was
somebody like weak.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, but I don't know how to say it. So I'm glad to use the quote marks. Yeah, exactly.
Well, how did she said wiggle fingers. So like, what were you picturing? It was probably this.
Like, this is what I thought she was doing, but I'm like, is she like doing it like this?
I was like, it was probably like just Eleanor very dramatically being like,
no,
like
probably.
That, like I don't know. Yeah, I've seen very dramatic quotation marks.
Yeah, my screen isn't big enough to be dramatic enough.
No, mine isn't either. That's why I leaned back. I guess we could probably just talk about the experience that Eleanor lived through as a child.
Yeah.
I prefer not to, but...
I mean, it's a super important part of the book. It's basically what formed her.
The point?
Really, yeah, it doesn't make it any easier, though, because it's really horrible.
It's horrible, and I have to pretend that it didn't happen.
It makes me sad, because it does happen.
Yeah. Well, mostly, like, I feel like if the sister had still been alive, it would be easier, but I guess that's just how things go.
Yeah, I was just appalled that, well, first a mother would talk to her child like that, and, well, now that I know the mother's dead, like, that's all the daughter can remember, so that's obviously all the mother ever talked to them like.
Yeah.
And then that the mother would then isolate them because they were starting to talk about it at school and people were noticing the bruises and stuff, and it's like, oh my goodness, this just escalated so bad.
Yeah, that's really sad. It's all sad. Aside from they got fancy food sometimes, I guess, when they weren't being starved.
That's the thing. It's like, yeah, you get some sushi and all this delicious stuff, but then you won't know if you're going to eat the next day. So it's like,
yeah, she was a weird. Obviously, that character, like the mummy, has a whole backstory that created whatever issues she's got going on.
Yeah. Yeah, very curious.
Initially, I thought that she had a lot of resentment for Eleanor because of how she was created, but then she had another kid.
Yeah.
And that part really confused me. Did you choose to have another kid? I don't understand, and I don't.
Yeah, but then give sedatives and lock your child up.
I felt like her just passing away from smoke inhalation.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
See, I don't know. I was like,
No. I feel like that was the easy way out. Like, I don't understand how the mother would have done that. Do what you did, and then you exit the house.
Like, you weren't... Maybe if it had been like... No, it's still even I don't understand, because I was going to say maybe one of the kids was like with her or something, but it doesn't make sense. For me, and I sent you messages about this, but I was very irritated by the twist. The twist, yes.
Yeah. Yes, me too. I was really excited for you to get to that part because I needed someone else to be irritated about it with me.
Okay. I wasn't sure how irritated you were about it, or if you were.
No, the twist just really irritated me, and it's what brought the book down to the 7 out of 10, because I'm like,
No.
So why, like you just said that you didn't feel that she'd pass away. Was there anything else that irritated you about it?
That was the biggest part. It's like, I feel like the mother should still be alive and in jail, dealing with her consequences.
Yeah. No consequences.
Yeah.
I mean, death.
Yeah, but that's not enough.
No. Yeah. So I read up on it a bit because am I just being too harsh? Like, because I really got irritated because to me it felt like a twist that was done for no other reason other than to be twisty, and that irritates me.
Yeah, it was done there just because.
Yeah. And so I read just some comments that other people had about it, and somebody said, I'm a retired clinical psychologist. I loved the book, but had trouble with Eleanor having talked with her dead mother for years. This would imply that she had a delusional disorder, which would limit both her personal growth and capacities to maintain gainful employment and stable blah, blah, blah. And that's that was my issue with it. I agree, this is somebody else. The twist was unnecessary and jarring. It also leads me to wonder, why does Eleanor need to change her last name for protection if there was no mummy?
Yeah.
Why was she moved to Glasgow for protection as well?
That's such like a good point that crossed my mind too. It's like, if everybody's dead and it's like old news in the newspaper, why do you need to change the name?
Right? I mean, I could definitely see it just being something quirky that Eleanor chose to do.
Maybe if you're trying to distance yourself from the trauma that occurred to you as a child.
Yeah.
And that could be enough.
It could be, but it just, to me, I felt like there was a lot of clues leading up to the fact that, like, it seemed like the mom was alive. But somebody else said that there was a point where it was like, oh, Eleanor didn't even talk about picking up the phone, but now she's suddenly talking to her mom on the phone. So apparently there was also signs the other way. But just for me, why is she, I know she's super, super lonely, but why not manifest it? I mean, her mom was the voice in her head, but why not manifest her sister or something if you're actually like, if this isn't a real, not real, but like something that exists in your mind kind of thing.
Yeah, that's so true.
For a bit, I did think that she had a mental health disorder and there was maybe different personalities within her.
Oh, yes. That could have been an interesting way to go.
Yeah, it could have been. But no.
Did you think that there was a sister? Like, did you clue into that pretty quick?
No.
No?
I was confused for a little bit. Like, I was doing the math on how old Eleanor was. I was like, did she have a kid? Because I had a feeling there was a partner in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So I did the math though, and that doesn't add up. For me, I was just so confused because the mom didn't, like, with the way that Eleanor was conceived, it didn't seem as though she would choose to have another one.
No, like, unless it was an oops.
Yeah, right? So, and she was clearly very self-centered, so it just seemed an odd choice.
Yeah, why do you do that?
Did you figure out right away that there was a sister?
Well, she always used the words we when she was talking to Mummy. Mummy would say, I only had daughters. So I'm like...
Right, yeah, that's when I was like, oh, okay, there might be two.
But she always talked about we. I thought maybe there was like a twin. I couldn't figure out how that twin was no longer here unless the only thing I could figure out then was maybe that get separated in foster care.
Yeah, I'm so upset, but I think
But no, it was way worse.
I understand why she was the way she was. No, why she didn't want to address that. Why she didn't want to think about that period. To the point that she just completely blocked it out of her memory. Like, I think that's totally a possibility of something that could happen.
And I mean, we're both big sisters and understand how she couldn't protect her little sisters. Like, that would kill us.
That was a huge thing, and how she was blaming herself so much.
I could totally understand why. Because it's your little sister, you want to protect them. That's like your job as soon as they're born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving into that, we kind of discussed a little bit about her therapist. And I said, like, I really liked them. I thought they did a really good job. One of my favorite passages was when she told the therapist to go to hell. I totally understand that. And I know in those kind of positions, you need some kind of professional boundary.
Yes.
So it makes sense. You're helping people, but at the end of the day, it's okay, clocked out. But
yeah.
I totally also understand what Eleanor was.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, in those moments.
It's just like, that's something I still have trouble with when it comes to therapy, because it's like, oh, what if we're somewhere good? And then it's like, yeah, it's been an hour. Bye.
Yeah. Well, and how do you carry that with you for the week or for however long until you see them again?
And that's when people like leave and do what she did. Whatever their crutch is. You fall back into habit.
I don't know how you remedy that. Like, she increased her sessions, but
like, I think that she would have to tell her in the therapy, and then they would have to come up with coping ways to deal with.
Well, I think maybe that should have been the very first. Like, I don't know the natural progression of this, but maybe that should have been the first thing that they addressed before they opened this can of worms. Otherwise, I
No.
thought that it was pretty cool.
Yeah. The therapist seemed amazing. And I also like how Eleanor was like judging her at first.
Right.
Because I'm like, oh, well, I know you're wrong because this therapist is going to be what cracks you open. It was so
Right.
cute.
I wasn't sure. I was scared because she was so standoffish. I was like, uh-oh. And Raymond promised to tell the truth, and she was like, yes, I do.
It's like, that's hilarious. Totally.
I like how he knew, too. He knew she was going to try not to.
For sure. He knew her well.
It's kind of like, I kind of wish we had almost discussed this book in segments as we went through it. Because now I'm like emotionally clicked off from it.
Yes, that's a good way to.
When I was in the throes of it, very passionately been discussing
Yes.
what's going on.
Might be fun to do sometime.
Maybe. I like, or those people who do the videos of like me after reading a book. I'm not sure what my
Yes.
face would have looked like throughout this one, but it wouldn't have been a happy one most of the time.
Catch all the emotions.
Yeah, it seems a weird thing to record, but
People do it all the time.
it's a good review of the book.
For sure.
Yeah. I do find that like this book is like really well loved. Not people being like, this is like such a happy, nice joy book, but a lot of positive reviews about this book.
I never really read any of the reviews from it, so that's really good to hear.
Yeah.
It was a good book.
It was a good book. A weird one.
It was a weird one, and not like a I love this book forever type of book, but it was good.
I think it'll be another one that I just kind of like stays with you mentally.
Yeah, I agree.
And just a nice little reminder of how to treat people.
Exactly.
Be more
That's-
like Raymond.
So true. Everybody should try to be a little more like Raymond.
Just, what did you think of all her little gifts that she gave people? It started with Sammy Tom and the
Oh,
magazine, and I was hoping that would come back around, and he would be
my
like,
goodness.
"Who?"
That was so funny. She didn't know how to act, and like this is something that made me think that she was still like stuck in her childhood past. Because
Yeah.
like she's like, oh, I gotta bring a gift. What do I have? People like cheese. Here's some cheese. And honestly, people do like cheese. So, but I thought her gifts were quirky, just like she did.
Yeah, it's just funny people's like reactions, or when the nail tech opened up her bag and there was an egg sandwich in there. She's like, that, and she gags and she's like, "That's a bit of an overreaction."
It would have been an overreaction. I agree, 100%.
I don't expect to find an egg sandwich when I open a bag.
Oh, I would never expect that. I'd expect like a rotten banana or some fruit or a granola bar, but
Egg sandwich. Yeah, she was just totally oblivious to social cues, which is funny.
well, I just found out that they are trying to make a film. in
No
this
way.
movie. So, would you watch it?
No. Yeah, I would. Because I always want to watch a movie for a book I read. But honestly, I am done. It was a lot. I'm glad that I read it. It is a good book, but I don't want to relive it.
No.
Would you
it's
watch
like would for the point of curiosity of how much they messed up the book.
Yeah, I love to do that.
Yeah.
And also, if I can't point blank see, like if you messed up Eleanor or what she's thinking or how she would act,
Yeah. Or how she even just like looks.
her whole, because I have this whole image of Eleanor.
Oh, yeah. If it doesn't match it, nope.
Nope. Okay, well, I think that's about all we have for the book today.
So, yep.
We'll be moving on to our Christmas reads, so something lighter.
Lighter and cozy.
I'm really excited to hear what people thought about this book, or if you agree or
Yes.
disagree on any of our points. So feel free to let us know.
Yes.
Otherwise, subscribe, like, follow along
All the things.
for our next book.
We'll see you then.
Thanks for flipping through Pages Across the Prairies with us. Until next time, keep your tea warm, your bookmark handy, and if you enjoyed today's chat, like, share, and subscribe to join us again.